Good morning and welcome to another edition of Outsider Genie. We will be racing today from the gravel turf track. I'm not sure what the going is because I can't pick it up yet whether they're going to race on the poly or on the turf. If they change to the poly, then you'll just have to check your selections because I won't be redoing this video. But hopefully they'll still race on the turf track today, the 28th of March, where we have an 8-race card. So let's move down to race number 1. We start with a maiden plate over 1,400 meters. And let's have a look at the betting. The betting is as follows. Number 9, Maestro Sonador, 22 to 10, Prince of Toronto, 5 to 2, Chocolate, 6 to 1, 8 to 1, Drogati, the Gold, 10 to 1, 12 to 1, My Lord Master, Syro, 14 to 1, 16 to 1, and Better the Rest. Here in race number 1, my outright selection is number 2, Prince of Toronto, very well drawn. Stuart Randolph on board. The horse improved from his first run to his second run, running second behind Guitar King over the 1,400 meters at this course and distance. And I'm surely Prince Toronto will be a huge runner in this race. Then we have a look at number 7 for my outsider selections. Number 7 is the goal. The goal is already a 4-year-old version Getterich by Tiger Rich May. Has run a few places here and there, and I think a nice outsider to include into your quartets and trifecta selections. My other outsider selection is number 10, which is Drogati. Didn't run well last time out, but before that, his last 3 runs before that, he finished under 2 lengths all 3 times. Warren Kennedy on board, certainly a very competent jockey. I see he's got the most winners here in KwaZulu-Natal. A Wiley Hall by Kahal. We saw a Wiley Hall yesterday with one first time out. Certainly, I do like these Wiley Halls that can run. And I'm thinking maybe to just give number 10 another chance over the 1,400 meters to include in your quartets and trifecta selections. Here we have number 11, Chocolate. Has also improved dramatically from his second last run to his last run. Lyle Hewitson on board from draw 11. That might be a small disadvantage on this gravel track. Then the favorite here is Anton Marcus on Maestro Sonador. This horse has also been running nicely over his last 3 runs. Over 1,600 meters. Now they're bringing it back over 1,400 meters where you finished at this gravel on yielding going. You finished third behind Good Time Guy, and Good Time Guy has won again since. So certainly the form is strong. You can see there 12 runs, 2 wins, and so forth. The draw 9, I think that swayed my selection into favor number 2, which is much better drawn, Prince of Toronto from the Tony Reverend stable. So let's move on to the next race, which is race number 2, a graduation plate over 1,600 meters. 1,400 meters. Let's have a look at the betting. Here we have a strong favorite, number 7, Russian Rock, the Cape Guineas winner at 17 to 20, Captain of Stealth 16 to 10, Ralph the Rascal 12 to 1, 14 to 1, Visa Nova, Trade Swiftly 14 to 1, Shavutsik 18 and 25 to 1, Canadian Bolt. Now I can tell you I'm not going to rush to take that 17 to 20 on the favorite, because I saw this horse last time out when he ran with his head in the air. But certainly he has run some good races, and I'm not saying the horse cannot win, but he's a 3-year-old carrying 60 against some older horses. And my preference in this race is number 2, Captain of Stealth, also carrying 60, but already a 4-year-old. But this horse won his first 2 races by 5.5 lengths and 6 lengths. And since then has run against some of the better horses in Cape Town, Bulgarian, Pinkerton. And I think over this 1,400 meters today, I think Captain Stealth will be hard to beat. Then for outsider selections, my outsider selection this race is number 6, which is Tread Swiftly. Tread Swiftly has also run a few nice runs over the 1,400 meters course and distance. 3 runs for the first, the second, and the third. But certainly a horse that you need to include into your play. And another horse that you might want to look at, I haven't included in mine, but just for the record, Shavut went to ran behind in the guns behind Catch 22, but never showed and then was beaten by Full Blast. But maybe if you want to pop this into the back end of your quartets. So let's move on to race number. Okay, sorry, yeah, I forgot. And then I wanted to mention number 4, Vista Noble. You know, these global views and out of Al Mafti Me, they certainly run well. This horse only had 2 runs, but I've heard from Gavin van Sale that they think a lot of this horse. I just want to put it on record. I don't find trainers for the view on the horses, but I spoke to him one day and he just mentioned that he's got this nice horse called Vista Nova, and you're expecting a lot of him. So maybe you want to pop also that into your quartet and trifecta selections. So let's move on to race number 3. The first 2 legs of the Pick 6 definitely a bit of a nightmare in my view. Here we have number 4, Predator 28-10, Coral Copy 7-2, 5-2, Secret Giver, 0-8, 10-1, 11-1, Mystery Boy, Decorated 11-1, Animus 12, 14-1, Command Council, number 2, Do Remy 16-1 and 16-1, Great Ngari, and 53-1 and longer the rest. Now here my first selection is number 14, which is Decorated. I also gave it last time out. You see another double view by Dynasty. Guys, I just want to mention for you guys who don't know, but global view is by a stallion called Galileo. Now, if you want to know about Galileo, go and have a look, Google it, and your eyes will pop out. This horse is very, very well bred, this stallion, and I think he's going to be a top stallion on his day. And I like Decorated. I also gave it last time out, but he ran on a poly behind Mr. Pigali and was just run out of it. And I think in the 2,100 meters will actually suit this horse, although drawn 14. But he has got the services of GENIE, and I'm expecting a huge run from number 14, Decorated, because over the 2,100, it's not going to make such a big difference, because if you can check this, if you see, and this is what's swayed above all the other horses in this field. Here on his first run, 6 lengths behind Mexican Cat Dance, which I think was surely too short for him, ran at 24.1, second fastest to 400. Then behind Flying Vision over 1,400 meters, 24.5, fastest 400. Then midway, headway, second fastest 400. Last time out, fastest 400 to finish. I'm going to tell you, this horse is going to be finishing like a steam train, Decorated, and surely my pick. And the horse currently is nice price, 14-1, 11-1. Yeah, it was 12-1 a little bit earlier when I was doing my selections. Now it's 11-1, so I don't know if there was money for it. But let's have a look at my outsider selections, and here I'm going for number 1, which is Secret Giver, philanthropist by Varme. Surely doesn't look like it's going to run the distance, but this horse also ran nicely behind August Red over the 1950, and surely I think Warren Kennedy on board from draw 1 to 2,100 meters will certainly suit this horse. And then I'm just going to scroll down here again. Sorry, I'm taking you up and down on this thing. My other one is number 10, Araminus. This horse is also improving slowly. I had a nice run behind Alado's Pride, then 5 rings behind HO2, and last time out was just beaten on the line by Jacob's Ladder. Governor Beep on board. He likes to win with outsiders. Number 10, what's the betting on number 10? Number 10 is also 12-1. Certainly, I think a good inclusion into your play. Then let's have a look at the few, one or two of the other ones in this race. Number 6, Coral Copy, also a horse that improved last time out over the 1950. So it looks like it also with suit him, was also running on fastest 400 meters to 24.5, Anton Marcus on board. Then number 7, Great Ngari, is also a horse who's always been there and thereabouts, and maybe you want to put this horse in the back ends of your quartets. Was placed in his last few runs, except behind Fatsy Car. But before that, the 2nd, the 4th, the 3rd, and the 4th. And so this horse has run a few places, 12 places out of 20 runs. So certainly a horse that you want to pop into the back end of your quartets. Great Ngari 16-1. So let's move on to the next race, which is another race over 2,100, but this is for the fillies and mares. over 2,100 meters, a maiden plate. Let's have a look at a betting. Certainly another open race that we're going to find here. Number 8, Computaform, 22-10, 5-2, Top Me Up, Holy, 3-1, Ananova. There was 4-1 earlier when I did my selections. 11-2, Gypsy Magic, Siberian Sunset, 16-1, Papillon, 20-1, Miss Emblem, 20-1, 22-1, Z Rider, Queens, Isabella, 25-1, and Longer Scratch, number 1. So here in race number 4, my first selection is number 7, which is Ananova. Was a Wiley Hall, yet again a Wiley Hall by Amaftimir. I really liked him, and this horse has been running well, and I think that this 2,100 meters would suit. On his first race, he ran on 24 point fastest 400 to finish behind Love of London. Love of London has actually won again since, and so I'm thinking number 7, Ananova. While we're here, here's the favorite, number 8, Copper Trooper. Also, a chance that was running on nicely last time out behind Panakamoda. And Anton Marcus on board, who's got a few good rides today. We'll see how many of them he brings home. I'm not going to go into that discussion. So my outsider selections, number 3 is Papillon. It's a noble tune. There's noble tunes. They like the longer distances. And I'm thinking that number 3, Papillon, definitely the horse that you want to include in the back end of your quintet, as was number 11, Gypsy Magic. Now, Gypsy Magic, Tony Nassif. Now, in the week, you will remember I did tell you to put Tony Nassif's horse. I can't remember the name now. And the horse was at one stage at the bookmakers was 50-1. And I think he eventually jumped at 35-1 or 40 or something like that. And then he duly won the race. But now today, here we have another kettle of fish, because the horse did improve last time, but that was on a poly. Now it's back on the turf. So I would advise you guys, if this for some other reason this meeting is being moved to the poly, certainly I would then think 11 Gypsy Life would be a huge runner. But do include it in the back end of your quartets and trifectas. This horse ran on the Scottsville as well, on the turf, a nice 1.85 behind the horoscope. So do include that. In my other selection here, I want to discuss with you is number 13, Top Me Up, Holy, a Master of Fate, but poorly drawn, but it's also been running well. Lyle Hewitson on board, he's lying second in the KwaZulu-Natal, but overall South African stakes, he's leading it by far. So just want to quickly check something here. Here's a horse, Master of My Fate, Fritchie. Now, just want to check something here. My goodness. Yeah, there's a half sister. This one is Go by Go Deputy. My goodness. I just picked it up now. So this is Fritchie by Sfar's half sister. That means that this horse will certainly also like the longer distances. So maybe if you want to pop this into your, like 4th place, if you play a multi-quartet or a trifecta, because this horse will surely appreciate the longer distance. Definitely number 12, Lady of My Life. Wow, I only picked it up now. All right, so that is race 4. Let's move on to race number 5, where incidentally, this is a pinnacle stakes over 2,200 meters. And I'll tell you now, I'm saying incidentally, the 2-1 shareholder favor, 7-2 gentleman's wager, 4-1, Fritchie by far, 5-1, in Oro 10-1, 12-1, Vernon from Berlin, Cloud of Witness 18-1, 25-1, Sid Philip, and number 4, Viking Red, 40-1. And here in my first selection in this race is the best weighted horse, and that's Fritchie by far, which we just had a look at. This horse is only carrying 58.5, minus 2.5, and he's the best. He's already the best weighted, and now he's carrying minus 2.5. I would think Fritchie by far today over this distance of 2,200 meters. Definitely a huge runner. This horse has run against the best in the country, and certainly is meeting a field that is not as strong as usual, because the average rating in this field is a B83. Now, if you have a look here, where Fritz by far ran 104, 101, 97, 99. Hasn't won for 432 days, but keeps on earning par for victory in the Gold Cup. Ran third in the Gold Cup, and then behind. And these last two runs was certainly just to give him, like a pipe opener, because it was certainly too short for a. And I think Fritz by far today is a huge runner. Yeah, she can get step opposition from number 2 Shareholder, but now as you can see, Shareholder is giving her 4 kilograms, and over this kind of distance, 4 kilograms can make a huge difference. I'm sure you're looking forward to this race. Shareholder hasn't run over the distance, but has run over 2,000 meters behind. Got the green light when he was a 3-year-old, and was 6.5 the lengths. But that horse run second in July, and that won the other day again, and then was beaten by Native Tongue, Mount Anderson, and New Stream Masterton. But I think also a horse that has, I think the race will pan out between these two. Then for my outsider selections, I went for number 9. This is Merlin from Berlin. Merlin from Berlin also a horse that this distance will not be a problem. Always running there and thereabouts. Did win, beating Favor the other day. And I think you just want to check here, 59.5. And Favor is carrying 60. That is a half kilogram less. And they met at Favor was carrying 59.5. Merlin from Berlin was carrying 61. 61, so 1.5. And there's just a half. I think, yeah, number 9, Merlin from Berlin, and Favor close to each other. Favor also who's got a chance in this lineup. Number 7, Favor, has also been running well, but hasn't run against the class that Merlin of Berlin or Shareholder and in a big way, Fritz by far ran. One of the horses that I'm scared of, and I don't have it in my pick 6 because I only have numbers 1 and 2 in my pick 6, is Gentleman's Way. This horse is also improving sort. He has now won 3 races, but most of them on the poly. But he's getting the -1.5, so maybe you want to include that also in your trifectas and quartets. And then here's number 4, Viking Red. This poor horse is so way out in the bed, in the weights. I don't know, but he's under sufferance. But I think maybe if you want to pop this into the back end of your quartets, just because on a breeding, because these Go Deputies by Western Winters, they are surely bred for distance. Now you can see here, you see also here a Go Deputy by Western Winters. So we got the same line here by Viking Red. So maybe pop Viking Red into the back end of your quartets and trifectas, because certainly he's going to be distance suited, this horse, number 4, Viking Red. And sometimes these horses run above themselves. The other day I saw also a horse that ran second, but he was way out in the weights. I think it was called Rosalina, ran second or something in the graduation plate. It does happen that they run above their ratings sometimes. So here we are at race number 6, which is a fillies and mares handicap 100, 1,600 meters. Let's have a look at the betting. Here the betting is as follows. Number 1, Preferential 3-1, Silver Magic 7-2, Jacqueline 4-1, Third Runway 9-2, Master Keys 10-1, 12-1, Glory Days, Jacksburg 12-1, Stalbert 14-1, 14-1, Drama Queen. Now, when I saw this Third Runway in this race, I immediately made this my first selection. This filly, if you see here, you'll see that we are running in a class B91. Now, I just want to show you Third Runway. Third Runway, 100 and 150, 108, 112. Okay, behind good horses, Mississippi Burning, Celtic Sea, World Raider. Yes, he beat Icon Princess. Icon Princess has won a few and was placed in few rings. 5.5 rings behind Captain Ransom. Eric the Red, Celtic Sea. I don't know what happened here. He says he had pulled and he tired. And last time I had 4 rings behind Zarbio. Also in 102. So, I mean, this horse hasn't won for 201 days, but this is certainly, I think, the best horse in this race. If you have a look here at, it's B91. Let's see. The closest we got here is she ran in a 95, which she actually won 1400 meters. I'm sure she won't have a problem with the 1600 meters. Definitely, I think is one of your better bets on the day, third runway. And for my outsider selections, I went for another horse down here at the bottom, Drama Queen. Now, sorry, I want to check something. Yeah, third runway is the top weight. Now, if you have a look at Drama Queen, also a horse that came from Durban, and you look here on the 9th of September in the 95, she ran 4.75 behind third runway, then behind 2.5 lengths behind Elusive Fortune, then one Queen of Quiet. Now, Elusive Fortune, after that race, has won another 2 or 3 races, including a small future race. Now, today she's running against Preferential, which beat her by 4.8. Last time out carrying 57 and Preferential carrying 57. Now she's carrying 55.5. And let's just see what Preferential carries 56.5. So, and while I'm on this subject, Preferential, I think if there's a prize for the most improved horse in KwaZulu-Natal so far this season, it must be this horse. Won 4 races out of 6, and certainly in with a chance, but still have to win against this class of third runway and then even Drama Queen. But Preferential certainly must to go into your selections. So then we move on to the next race, which is race number 7, the King's Cup, over 1600 meters, class A, average man rated 107. Now, here in race number 7, the betting is as follows. Silver Operator 28-10, My Hopes and Dreams 5-1, Trustful 11-2, Guru's Pride 11-2, 10-1, Mount Anderson Trip to Africa's 10-1, 12-1, New Stream 16-1, Mary O, and Better the Rest. Now, here my selections is number 3, My Hopes and Dreams. This horse is coming with a big reputation. I mean, this horse has run against some decent opposition. She won a maiden beating Fort Abigail. Fort Acopia has now won 3 races. Yes, he beat Path of Choice coming from behind. Then ran behind Woodsprite and beat All Muffed, All Lit Up, Sudden Star, Snow Report. And last time out, Grable ran behind Venison. And I'm thinking that she ran on, and you can see all the other races ran on as well. I'm not sure why Faria has been taken off this horse. It's now Selvin Moody riding this horse, but sometimes jockey change can make can be a good thing. Now, I just want to take you quickly back to, if you see the form of My Hopes and Dreams. I don't want to take you back to race number 2. You have Russian Rock, which is a 17-20 favorite. Now, should Russian Rock win this race? I say if he does. You can see this horse ran 5th, 2.5 lengths behind My Hopes and Dreams, with a half kilogram difference. So should Russian Rock wins, surely that means that My Hopes and Dreams chances will also be, must also be good to win this race. And another thing is, I have huge respect for Justin Snape and how he places his horses. I can tell you, there's not many in this country trainer that can place his horses as well as he does. So my first selection, race 7, is number 3, My Hopes and Dreams. Then for outsider selections, I'm going for number 1, Mary O. Mary O is also a horse that I think has got huge of ability, but sometimes does not run to her ability. Yes, she ran behind Summer Pudding, Temple Griffin, all grade 1 races, was just beaten by Jack's Bird, giving weight And then I took it to Joburg last time out of the Val behind Wiley Winch, shifted out. But now back in KwaZulu-Natal from draw 1 Calvin and Beep, I'm expecting Mary O to run a huge race. Then my other outsider selection in this race is number 4, which is Stressful, which is in the same camp as number 1. Went to Gauteng last time out behind Someone Pudding Handy, fell away. That was in November. Before that ran 5 lengths behind Do Magic. But before that ran 1.75 Golden Ducat, which is not in this race. Second behind Bulgarian, Born to Perform. And I'm thinking that Trustful, surely, Lyle Hewitson on board, the Tony Ribbon stable is in form. This trainer owner did have a win the other day. And I'm thinking Trustful is going to give a huge account of himself in this race. In other horses, we want to look at is number 8, Silver Operator, the favorite. Yeah, I'm not so sure about this horse. This horse is, I mean, upper speed. This horse is run against huge. You look here, 108, 109, 100, keeping Captain of Self. So if Captain of Self wins in the second race, then that will surely enhance number 8 Silver Operator. By no means, I don't say this horse hasn't got a chance. I mean, this horse ran in accused Queen's Plate and the mate. So certainly Silver Operator, is in with a huge chance. But you still have to win over this distance. Has not won over this distance, so that is a bit of a thing that swayed me in my hopes and dreams' favor. But certainly a very open race, a few horses with chances. Yes, Guru's Pride, also a horse that is improving, has won his last 2, and before that has won some decent races. So also improving sort number 6 Guru's Pride. Yeah, Price's Ruler is an old dog. 5 races. When he wants to run, he can beat all of them. Mount Anderson won a nice race the other day. Yeah, certainly a very open race, but I'm sticking my hopes and dreams on number 3. Then we move on to the last race where we have another short price favorite, and let's have a look at that. Betting first. Here we have number after the rain 17 to 25 to 1 Sonia Dor, 11 to 2 Silver Stardust, Morse 10 to 1, Giuseppe Song 11 to 1, The Kingdom 16 to 1, 25 to 1, and better the rest. Now, again, I'm just going to look at the favorite first, and then I'll give you my selections. Now, years after the rain, and there's nothing wrong. This horse ran on well behind Crusade Star. But guys, Crusade Star took a very long time to win his races. I don't know how many races, but before he won. Now, yesterday at Turffontein, there was also the case where they backed this one horse off the board, who just had his one run. And I always say, sometimes it happens that horses who has got a very good first run sometimes doesn't run up to their first race expectations, and surely rushing to put the back 17 to 20 on after the rain, it's not my cup of tea. Again, don't say the horse cannot win. Definitely, the horse has got a winning chance. He ran a nice race first time out. But my selection, I'm going to put my hopes on number 1, which is Sonia Dor. Michael Roberts, drawn 1. This horse has been running nicely, be a Jack in the Pot, and Commandro before that has run a few places. I mean, this horse ran second behind Fred. Fred came to the Gauteng and won a race here. Kenneth MacArthur is a decent horse. So has run against some useful opposition. Out of 14 runs, 7 was placed 9 times out of 14. So certainly Sonia Dor, I think, from draw 1 today, definitely here we had to draw 14 out of 15. And I think number 1, Sonia Dor, definitely in with a chance. And then for outsider selections, I'm going to go for number 5, Giuseppe Song. I gave this horse last time out, and I say this horse is an improving horse, and it duly ran 3rd behind Alfredo. And again today, getting the -4, surely Giuseppe Song, a horse that you cannot leave out. And then my other outsider selection is down here at the bottom, number 14, Morse. Also a horse that comes from Cape Town. Has run a few places, Lyle Hewitson, but unfortunately, the draw 14 is going to be a factor, but he can pull it off. Has got a competent jockey on board. And then also we have this first timer here, Silver Stardust, very well bred Silvana out of a Jetmaster mare. You can't get better breeding, so do include it in your play. Warren Kennedy is on board, and as we all know, Gavin Van Zyl can get him ready first time out. Yeah, there's other horses that you want to maybe have a look at to include. Maybe Fantastic Party can improve on his first two runs. Certainly, I would think for definitely a horse for the back ends of your quartets. Then number 10, the Kingdom, also looks a horse that can improve. Staff Sergeant, maybe the back end of your quartets has been placed for a few times. So that brings us to the end of our preview for today at Greyville. I hope I could point you in the right direction for a few winners. And as I always say, break a leg.